everyone, welcome to this video on Frontier Rant. My name is Jay Wakefield, and I know I'm supposed to actually be working right now on rendering my video of the Toshiba T2130CT, which I'm very happy with, actually. I don't know if this video will come before or after that. Anyway, I had to do this video because I was just on my Facebook and this came up. Tories block a £3 million EU fund to feed the poor. Now, anyone in the UK who is not currently living under a rock on Mars with their fingers in their ears will know that the Tories are basically pushing their luck. In fact, they were pushing their luck in 2010 when they got in. But now they're just being plain sick. This is an example of why we don't need them. You know, they've cut a lot of benefits to the most vulnerable in society, people who aren't work shy. These are people who are too old to work, people who are trying to work but can't get a job because nobody's hiring, because austerity. People, you know, who are unable to afford the bedroom tax but unable to downsize due to there being a lack of one-bedroomed houses on the market. This is just... And now, you know, the EU has stepped in. They're wanting to help Britain's poor, and the Conservatives have blocked it, saying that it's not the EU's job to tell us dictate how to run the country. I'm just completely speechless. I really do not know what to say. Seriously, this kind of makes my blood boil. I'm lucky I live in Scotland, which is a very, very progressive country. You know, we had our chance to vote to break away from this in September. I personally think that it was rigged. I mean, come on. Dundee was a cert yes. And yet the fire alarms went off 3 times during the count, and in the end, yes, Dundee won. Dundee's results were an overall yes, but only by a small margin. You know, it wasn't, you know, the massive margin that one would have expected from basically what was known as the yes capital, if that wasn't Glasgow, but this is why I don't like the UK government. I just don't. They're doing everything that they can to actually hurt their people now. This is exactly what they're doing. They're quite happy for people to starve. Food banks have sprung up, and they're now judging people for using them. You know, saying, oh, people are just too comfortable, you know, not having to earn their income. People are just going to the food banks because they can't be bothered. You know, someone actually said people are going to food banks because they can't be bothered to cook. No, there's a lot of people having to go to food banks and ask for convenience foods, kettle boxes as they're called, foods that can be prepared using boiling water from a kettle, because it's actually too expensive for a lot of people to switch on their cooker. What kind of a state are we living in now where people can't even afford to prepare free food? So many people have died at the hands of all of these Tory punitive measures, be that bedroom tax, be that welfare sanctions, be that ESA, being denied ESA or PIP or DLA or what have you. So many people have died, and it's just not even funny. Do you know, actually, I have a theory that the Tories are doing this on purpose. Well, of course they're doing it on purpose, but they are doing this. They know what the effects are going to be. They know that people are going to get hurt. I think they're doing this so that we get annoyed enough that people start rioting, and then they have an excuse to put the whole place on military lockdown. I honestly believe that that is what they're trying to do. Because what else could it be? I think that the only way forward now is for Scotland to actually declare a unilateral declaration of independence. We need to call back the 3 estates and, you know, actually we actually need to execute a unilateral declaration of independence, because we cannot be part of this anymore. Seriously. And I hope people who voted no in September's referendum, yes, I know there were people who voted no. I hope the people who voted no in September's referendum are actually starting to kind of rethink their actions now, because this is exactly what I thought would happen. Maybe not this, but I knew that the Tories would turn even more nasty. And the thing is, English politics are going hard right. It's almost as if they're in a car and the steering lock's on. It won't actually, they can't turn the wheel. It's just on full lock to the right. That is exactly what it is. It's almost going round in very tight circles, Ken. That is what I believe is happening. It's going hard right. Whereas Scotland's politics, they're actually going, kind of more liberal, more left of centre. Nicola Sturgeon is a fantastic First Minister, and so is Alex Salmond before her. And England hate the SNP, the Westminster government. I'm not saying everyone in England. I'm just saying, like, the English government, they do not represent us. And it's just horrible. And if Scotland go independent, it'll actually be a wake-up call. People in England will actually then start saying, well, no, we don't have to put up with this, because Scotland are showing us another way. It's, seriously. And if anyone even dares to vote Tory, seriously, in this next election, then again, what can you vote in Westminster? Because you're going to get Tory whatever you vote. It's just that the colour has yet to be decided. Are you going to get red Tory, blue Tory, or yellow Tory? They do say about Labour that people's flag is pale as pink since Gateskill washed it in the sink. There's not even any kind of red in that flag now. Seriously, it's literally bright azure blue. Which is a shame, because the colour blue is beautiful. That is actually one of my favourite colours, blue and green. But in Westminster, I believe they've completely lost the plot. I just hope that SNP don't succumb to that dummening if they get more seats in Westminster, because that's who I'm backing. We've got some fantastic ministers. My member of Scottish Parliament is a guy called Frank Doran, and he is absolutely fantastic. My MP, on the other hand, is some guy called Frank Doran, or as I like to call him, Frank Doorstop. And he voted for the Retention and Investigatory Powers Act. Need I say more? Basically, they can actually keep emails and logs, phone calls and what have you. That's what he voted for. Nice going there. You never get my vote. When I've contacted him in the past, I've always got a stock response. And that was only when I signed one of the petitions on 38 Degrees or Change.org or whatever. When I've tried to contact him personally, never got a response. But then again, I wouldn't expect to get one. He's part of the new Labour lot. And they stand for a lot of things that I hate. Yes, the Tories have been extremely nasty. There's no doubt about it. That's what they are. They are nasty pieces of work. And if you think that UKIP is going to give you a better deal, think again. There's more than one member of UKIP that said people with disabilities should be aborted or put down. UKIP are not the way to go. But remember this, Labour, the so-called left party, the so-called working man's party, they started the move from incapacity benefit to ESA. They farmed it all out to ASOS originally. They set in motion the transition from DLA to personal independence payment. Disability living allowance, by the way. That's what DLA stands for. So don't think that by voting Labour that you're going to get a change. Oh, and something else as well. Labour has been touted in Scotland, vote SNP, get Tory. Is that you saying that Westminster's voting system is broken and you know it? Because I think what you've done is you've chosen one of your own feet, produced a Glock, and shot right through it. The foot, that is, not the actual Glock. I find that really quite amusing. Vote SNP, get Tory. They're basically admitting that first past the post does not work. So, well done, Labour. You just keep going on. You just keep going on the way you're going, okay? You just keep going on. Tories... I'm not going to say anything, because I'll probably end up getting arrested if I did. I just plain don't like them. Honestly, this makes me sick. This really does make me sick. I don't even know. I'm shaking my head, by the way. All I can say is this. If you're voting in the general election, I've not heard very good things about Sinn Féin from an Irish person that I know, so I don't know who to say to vote for in Northern Ireland. In Wales, I would recommend you vote for Plaid Cymru. In England, I really don't know what to suggest, really. Maybe the Greens. If enough people vote them, they might actually get a presence. I just don't know what to think about in England, really. But in Scotland, it's the SNP. Seriously, it's the best way forward for us at the moment. And I know some of you aren't going to like the SNP. I'm really sorry about that. But the SNP at the moment is our best chance of getting what we need in Scotland. And maybe some independence as well. Better Together is not working. It never was going to work. It was never designed to work. All they really wanted was to plunder Scotland of its resources. You know, start fracking, gasification of coal, they're wanting to start that in Fife. Trident, they're wanting to spend money on Trident to upgrade it. In a time of austerity, that's just not on. Now First Minister has said so. She is actually representative of the people, because she basically goes down to Westminster and yells the sort of things that I would yell. Not sure that she yells them, but she certainly says them. But seriously, this needs to stop. This is just... no. It's sick. All I can say is Scotland, and to an extent the rest of the UK, wake up. It's time to wake up and smell the rancid coffee. Because we're being sold down the river. Seriously. What is it going to take before change happens? How many innocent people are going to have to be killed? Do we have to wait until the UK has been completely fracked to death and we have, and then we're starting to get gas explosions or maybe even earthquakes and have no drinking water? What is it going to take before we actually realise that we need a proper change? None of this kind of pendulum between Labour and Tory. The Lib Dems just aren't even a party anymore. They sold their soul out immediately in 2010. The first whiff of power, boom, they got into bed with the Tories. And don't think Labour are going to get you out of this mess, because they helped as much as the Tories to get us into it. But certainly for Scotland, we need to get out of this while we can. It's time we became independent. Westminster is becoming a radical hard right government. And I, for one, do not like it. And I certainly didn't vote for it. And I happen to know that probably a lot of people in this constituency didn't vote for that. No. It's about time we actually started working for the good of the majority, not for the 1%. I'm just really sick and tired of how things have been steadily declining and have really took a noticeable decline over the past few years. Oh, and if you think the BBC is going to tell you all this, think again. Anyway, I'm going to have to head off. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe.